When it rains, it pours. We use that phrase to talk about a series of unfortunate events, but the phrase was actually coined by the Morton Salt Company with a more positive feel. See, the company had started adding magnesium carbonate, an anti-caking agent, to salt, and that allowed it to pour freely. Before that addition, salt would clump if the weather wasn't agreeable. So the company wanted to emphasize the idea that the salt would pour freely even in damp weather. So hence, even when it rains, it will still pour out of the salt container. But the negative connotation harkens back to a phrase before Morton in the 18th century, a proverb that says, "It never rains, but it pours." And that specific expression has a more negative connotation as it describes the tendency for bad things to happen in multitudes. When you think of that phrase the way we typically use it, Joseph's life becomes kind of a poster child for that. It, from the outside, looks a lot like the Lemony Snicket book, A Series of Unfortunate Events. I mean, he's sold into slavery by his brothers, and then he's put over his master's household there, but then he's unjustly accused by his master's wife. He foretells a dream, and the guy gets out of prison. He says, "Please remember me," and the guy forgets him for 2 years. But God was in the business of using those unfortunate events to get Joseph to a place he couldn't have planned on his own that would lead him to the saving of not just his family, but much of the world through a famine. 24/7 Faith is the first series in our 24/7 theme for the year, and it's chronicling the first half of the life of Joseph and all of the setbacks that he dealt with, but the faith that he maintained through all of it. We'll talk about things like faith in temptation and through the weight and in famines, which can mean a lot more than just food for us, can't it? And this Sunday morning, we're going to talk about his faith in doing the right thing, regardless of the possible consequences. We'll talk about it more on Sunday. Hope to see you there.